Well, hey everybody, it's EDU 501. You made it! Fantastic. I'm Bill Selleck. It's nice to meet you. And by meet you, I mean you are listening to me talk. Probably embedded in the Meet Your Instructor page. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the course and then talk a little bit about each week and each assignment. Then each week you will get a video that gives you more details about the week and the assignment and the tasks. So big picture. You have a couple books. Maybe we can just start by week one. So if you want to open up a new tab, you can have me kind of on one side and your video on the other side, or whatever you want to do. Week one. So it's an introduction to the foundations of educational technology leadership. There are two books you're going to be reading most weeks. The Sir Ken Robinson book, and that tends to be a more traditional chapter. And then there's a book by many people. The lead author is Kyle Brumbaugh about, I think it's the Classroom Chef, looking at Google Apps for classrooms. Those ones tend to be just like 2 pages or so. Just quick little like, hey, this is a really cool workflow. I think you'll like it. So when you see that, you're like, oh my goodness, 3 different readings. It tends to be like, read a chapter, and then a couple really specific ways that you can use Google tools in your classroom. So week one's going to be no big assignments due, but setting up your Google profile. There's a discussion board. As a reminder on all of those, I just had a big sneeze right before I hit record. Sorry, I've got a bit of a runny nose. Discussion board's initial post, thoughtful post, is due on Thursday before midnight. 2 thoughtful replies due before Sunday at midnight. If you actually just go on the left sidebar and click on discussion board, it shows you all of them. Strongly encourage you to read that discussion board criteria and grading rubric so you know what is expected and how it is graded. Yes, so each week there is usually a video that I recorded at the first Q Bold Symposium. If you don't know CUE.org, the computer ed tech organization in California and Nevada and kind of nationwide at this point, although it's specifically like conferences in California. You'll learn more about that in your final assignment. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but Q hosted the BOLD Symposium. BOLD is an acronym because educators love acronyms. It's the Blended Online Lesson Design. So each week you'll see like a little 1-minute video of me. I think I presented 8 times in 2 days. It was crazy. So most of these are me like in the hallway or literally walking between sessions with the other presenters. There's a chance to have just like some firsthand videos about blended learning from all the presenters at the symposium. So that's what that is. You'll see Ben Cogswell with the giant red beard. That first video, discussion board, and then there are no assignments due at the end of week 1. Right? If you go to week 1, I'll give you more details. There's a video each week. So the week 1 page tells you more about week 1. Maybe if we look at assignments. So if you're on the left and go to course items, submit assignments, you're going to get a couple things. If you just click on that black text at the top, that's a link to submit. If it is a document, please, if you're in Google Docs, and you probably should be in Google Docs to actually write it, file, download as Microsoft Word, save it as a docx file, and then submit that file. You need to attach something when you submit. Linking to things is not okay, and I am not allowed to accept it if you just link to it. So please don't send me web links, including links to anything in Google Drive. You need to download it as a PDF or a doc, and then upload that. The blue link, you're always going to see a blue link that gives you a description of what the assignment is. So if we click on Social Media Starter Kit Part 1, there are 2 parts. Spoiled it for you. You're going to create an educational Twitter account or just share the one you have. You're going to screenshot it and upload that. The goal is to make it look like it's an actual person, right? So profile photo, header photo, pick a theme that's not the default theme. Make sure you have a username you like. Give us a biography, about what you want to do. Like if you're a middle school educator, you do the hashtag mid-leveled. If you're in math, that one's actually kind of a weird one. It could be like math chat in it, but also MTBOS, MitBoss, the math Twitter blogosphere. Super active. If you're a math teacher, you're welcome for that one. That will change your life. And then you're just going to follow 20 educators. If you follow me, I have some lists. You're welcome to follow those people, or just search a hashtag like WeAreCue, CUE. You'll find a bunch of educators that just are fantastic humans. And that's it for Social Media Starter Kit Part 1. It's just basically like getting your profile up and running. If we actually jump ahead to assignment 4, do weigh at week 6, right? So that was due week 2, jump ahead to week 6. You actually need to do some things. You need to actually tweet. You need to reply to people, share out your stuff. If you just look at that rubric, it's very clear, like at least 10 tweets sent in the first 6 weeks of the course. I've done more than that in 5 minutes. Just, oh my gosh, that's a great resource. Thank you so much. Have you seen this one? And then you're going to be participating in a Twitter chat for Part 2. There's a lot of resources that'll link. And I'll talk more about that in week 5, about what that looks like to be a part of a chat. And that's the second part. So kind of part 1 is setting up your account. Part 2 is actually engaging with other educators, as my mom calls it, on the Twitters. The second assignment, if we go back a little bit, that one is due at the end of week 3. It's a research paper looking at the elements of 21st century education. Hopefully that sounds like that's all you need to know for now. Be sure and look at the rubric. Be sure, if you're working in Google Docs, download as Word document, upload that Word document when you submit. You have an infographic that's going to be awesome. I'm going to talk more about that later. The idea is to create, and this is going to tie in with other assignments later in life and later in this course, looking at conditions for applying technology to a 21st century learning need. And so it's a mouthful, but it builds on identifying a 21st century learning need, what's the technology, and what are the conditions for it. So kind of a nesting dolls way of looking at it. It's going to be good. And then you're going to use, I think, PictoChart. I'll talk more about that later, to actually create your infographic. If we keep going chronologically, we hit Social Media Starter Kit Part 2, and then week 7 is actually getting you ready for 580 and 605 courses towards the end of your master's, to actually be prepared and have what you need to be able to do your assignments later. If we were to put this assignment in 580, 580 I think is the most overwhelming course you will take. So each course has a little bit pulled out from it, so that not only it feels like you're ramping up towards something that makes sense research-wise, but that you also have a little bit less to do because 580 is already completely overwhelming. So if you're wondering where this came from, that's where it came from. It is an ethical research assignment. It's called Protecting Human Research Participants. Anytime any adult does research, and there's a handful of kind of protected groups, children are one of them, you need to make sure to go through something like this. So again, we'll talk about that more later. You're going to be writing a 2 to 3 page paper. You're going to be submitting that as a doc or as a PDF. And then the final assignment, due the last day we are together, is becoming an active CUE member. So if you're already a member of CUE, awesome. You are on your way. The free membership is a thing, so you're going to get the free membership. You're going to share a little bit about the blog. You're actually going to create a proposal for a presentation as though you were to present at a CUE conference, so that at some point, if you want to attend, or if you want to start presenting, or both, you're able to actually have a proposal already ready to go that you can submit. And a great thing, one of my favorite things about CUE, is that if you present at one of their conferences, registration is free. That is exceedingly rare in professional conferences, so it's super exciting. That's actually why I started presenting at CUE, because I couldn't afford to go otherwise. So the only conferences I've ever been to for CUE are ones I've presented at. And I think I've yet to pay to go to one of their conferences, which is a big deal. They range from the one-day Saturday ones tend to be $30 to $50. Spring CUE is the biggest one, 3 or 4 days, and that's like $300 maybe. I'm actually not quite sure because I've never paid because I always present. So those are all the assignments. There tends to be video, discussion board, reading, and often an assignment. Sprinkled in, there's some collaborative exercises. I'll give you a description of those as we go along. And that's about it. If you have questions, you definitely want to reach out via email. I'll always get back to you within a day. If there's a very quick, simple, but urgent, like simple but urgent, I have links to all kinds of other ways you can contact me. I'm almost always required to, I think, reply via email, but can also just like quickly like text or tweet at you a reply and then follow up via email. So anyway, that is that. We're gonna have a good time. 501. Don't tell anyone else. It's my favorite course to teach, and I think it might be your favorite to take. So welcome.